line. Shake, rattle and roll. This is one of the 9 sections of cobbles that go to make up the Hell of the North. And nobody's too unhappy to have the stage into Vascal out of the way, especially Sean Yates. A moment's aberration brought him down to earth. Enough to shake your brains out, isn't it? Hello again. The riders are back in the saddle today, still a little bit sore, I would have thought. Yesterday, they transferred by plane from Vascal down to Dinard. We always like to take you behind the scenes of this extraordinary travelling circus whenever we can. There's often a good story when that's possible, and the transfer wasn't without its problems. The bus taking the Super U team, that's Laurent Fignon's of course, to the airport, forgot them. That didn't please Fignon too much, and just to add insult to injury, his plane was something like 4 hours late taking off. But Pedro Delgado was okay this time, and there's Charlie Motte, Raul Alcala and Sean Kelly, and Sean Yates.
Sean, how are you feeling after yesterday's fall?
I'm okay, a bit stiff, but not as bad as I thought. It's just a surface graze, and I should be all right for tomorrow.
Well, the riders were nice and relaxed on the flight. There's Kelly again, and Herrera. Raul Alcala doing what he enjoys, reading about himself. Yates again with Andy Hampston. Plenty of ice in the drink. That's how the Americans like it. And Yates, incidentally, was called up to the cockpit as the plane was about to land to get a good luck message from London air traffic controllers, which I can tell you was very much appreciated. And my favourite of all the pictures that we got in from France this morning, one of the plane taking off. Back to business then. Today's time trial. It's 73 kilometres, 45 miles from Dinard to Rennes. Anyone with designs on winning this race will have to put a good performance in today. There's the overall classification. Portugal's Acacio da Silva is the current leader. Keep your eyes on Fignon, though, and Alcala. Sean Kelly could do himself a lot of good today. He's something of a time trial specialist, and he's chasing the green points jersey. Well, let's get on to the start line then with Phil. And surely, Phil, Delgado, 138th overall, of course, would be on time this time.
He certainly was, Richard, and he arrived at the start to a loud applause from the very generous crowd there was at the Brittany start town. Then off he went, facing this long ride, and it really is a race of truth today. Delgado will either remain in this Tour de France as a challenger, or he will drop out of contention completely. And look at this for a time, because when he finished, don't forget, some 3 hours before the big boys in this Tour de France started. He's finished with the best time of 1 hour, 38 minutes and 36 seconds. He has now set the target for the rest to beat. There are some actually saying that Fignon will not be able to produce that time. Well, we'll wait and see. But at the 22-kilometre check, one man is pushing Delgado pretty hard. That's Stephen Roach, 1 second quicker here, and we can now go to the action and pick up Stephen.
And this is Stephen Roach, who was 1 second up on Pedro Delgado at 22 kilometres. But I'm afraid he's dropped to almost 2 minutes behind him by 48 kilometres, and now we'll wait to see his time at the finishing line. Delgado rode the whole event in sunshine to his ride of 1 hour, 38 minutes and 36 seconds. As you can see now, we are in the middle of a torrential rainstorm. Stephen Roach is swinging round towards the finishing straight then here in Rennes. He'd lost to just on 2 minutes at 48 kilometres. Delgado has done a tremendous second half to the race, whereas Roach has dropped back. And as he comes up to the line, Stephen Roach is changing the gear. He knows, I think, there's a very delicate corner, this one. It's so treacherous now. And then he'll sprint up the last 200 metres to the finish. But that left-hand corner, especially on these very light tyres, has been turned into a skid pan by this storm. All the weather now going in the favour of Pedro Delgado, because he has finished his effort in good weather. 1 hour, 41:34, and so Stephen Roach has conceded almost 3 minutes. And so we're looking here at Andy Hampsten, and you can see from the handlebars he's riding, specially adapted, rather the way that the triathletes use when they do the cycling section of triathlons. And this ball, I think, gives them a more relaxed position.
Well, it gives them a more aerodynamic position, actually. I wonder whether it is easier to breathe that way because it brings the arms in very close together and seems to close up the chest. But some of the Americans have produced incredible times on these bikes with these extensions that are actually just clipped onto the normal handlebars.
So cycling, learning from the new sport of triathlons. And there is the performances of young Andy Hampsten, third in this year's Tour of Italy, but he won that race last year, and 15th in the Tour de France. Well, Hampsten's quite a way back up the course here, out in the country, but the rain is still coming down. Delgado resting in his hotel, waiting for the call to say he's won the stage. Well, it's a bit early to predict that, but that is likely what will happen. The stars are coming and going, and the time gaps are becoming quite astronomical. Luis Herrera of Colombia losing almost 9 minutes today to Pedro Delgado. From being 6 minutes in front, he is now behind by more than 3. And this is Robert Miller now, sprinting up towards the line. His time way outside that of Pedro Delgado's. As Miller comes home, still raining here, and 7 minutes is the time conceded to Delgado by Robert Miller. Absolutely amazing. And this is Sean Yates, and he too has adapted his handlebars to the style of the triathlons. And it does seem now that the 7-Eleven team setting a new trend in the Tour de France. There was a rumour that these handlebars were going to appear in this year's event, and the 7-Eleven boys have not let the side down. It's the first time we've seen them in the Tour de France. And Sean Yates, I wonder if he's remembering the great ride he did a year ago, almost to the day, in northern France. And here is the arrival of Charlie Motte. He's almost caught Jean-Claude Calotti. He's passed Jerome Simon. And you see his time, even for this man who's worn the yellow jersey in the Tour de France, and more importantly, twice won the world's top time trial. The Grand Prix des Nations is conceding almost 3 minutes now to Pedro Delgado, who is certainly fighting his way back into this Tour de France. Motte, one of the outsiders for final victory in Paris, is really expected to take time in the time trials, not conceded to Delgado here. And he's losing almost 3 minutes as he comes up to this very dangerous left-hand bend. He drops the gears, he'll be outside 3 minutes. Pedro Delgado, probably in the hotel watching all this on television, must be getting more and more confident as the riders go by. Just over 20 riders still to finish in the Tour de France today. The top men, of course, Laurent Fignon still to come. And as he hits the line, Motte only 7th best. 1:41.55. He'll be very, very disappointed with that. He hasn't compared at all with Delgado. He finished ahead of Delgado in the time trial a year ago. And Stephen Rooks, who's riding just a couple of minutes behind Andy Hampsten, 21st in the Tour de France at the moment, 3 minutes 41 seconds behind. The first Dutchman ever to win the King of the Mountains title last year. And he wears number 11 again this time round. And this is the arrival of Jelle Nijdam, but he's had a terrible ride because he's been caught here. Nijdam's been caught, I think, by Rudy Darnans. And Nijdam now is coming up towards the line, but the rider who has caught him is Janus Koum, and passed him too. So Jelle Nijdam finished 4th in the time trial section a year ago, where he took the yellow jersey, so be it only briefly. And of course he won a stage here just 2 days ago before we took the aeroplane. Has decided not to race at all. He's conceded 2 minutes here to Koum, and Koum's time itself is quite a good one, but of course he is not considered a contender when the mountains come later on. So Janus Koum conceding about 3.5 minutes to Pedro Delgado, which means that Nijdam, there he is, he will lose 5. And while we watch these two riders finish, news from out on the course is that Laurent Fignon has gone through the 22 kilometres checkpoint, 1 minute and 15 seconds behind the time set by Pedro Delgado, and that is absolutely amazing. And in fact, Greg LeMond has gone through at the 48-kilometre point, 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Pedro Delgado. So it's all good news today. The weather changing so dramatically towards the end of the, halfway through the stage rather, from lovely warm sunshine to heavy rain, and Delgado is now certainly back in this race. So join us after the break and find out what has happened to Laurent Fignon.
Oi, 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 here I'll go, 2 pork pies, strawberry yoghurt.
Yeah, what about my Cycling Weekly?
Cycling Weekly, Britain's most wanted cycling magazine.
Welcome back. We're racing again, stage 5 of the Tour de France, an individual time trial. And this race, which has been full of surprises so far, hasn't let us down today. Pedro Delgado, who many had written off after the early few days, has produced a marvellous time. They're all chasing him. One or two names that were favourite, Laurent Fignon. Let's go back and join Phil.
And here is Andy Hampson. This time is going to be interesting. He's conceding also nearly 4 minutes. Andy Hampson, undoubtedly one of the riders who we expect to be up challenging on the Pyrenean stages and in the Alps. He would like, I would think, a better time than this. He lost his teammate today, Dag Otto Lauritsen, didn't start this morning in the time trial because he's contracted chickenpox, would you believe, off his children. He paid a brief visit home after the Tour of Italy finished and the symptoms started over the rest day yesterday, and he's actually out of the race. That's a strong rider out of the 7-11 team. And of course, 142, still counting as we go down this very slippery bend. And Andy Hampson, I think, is conceding 4+ minutes here, and that's a lot of time. Delgado is having a marvellous day, Paul.
Well, Delgado has brought himself right back into contention, but go with that 42.40 there, 11th place, but it's still not very good for him because he's lost 4 minutes.
And here's Sean Yates coming home. So Sean Yates looks to do an excellent time, much better than Andy Hampston's, because he's only about 1.5 minutes behind him as he comes into our picture here. So Yates has done a great ride. It's not a winning ride. Delgado seems to have at the moment bottled that up very, very well. But Sean Yates is going to climb up the overall classification today. 20th overall this morning. And quite clearly, the crash he had on the cobblestones of northern France have not upset this tough man from Sussex. He's doing an excellent ride here, and he's going to be on the leaderboard with this performance. La Giretta is second at the moment with 1 hour 40 minutes and 32 seconds, and I think Sean Yates is going to go number 2. Take it steadily around this bend as Yates makes the final corner. 200 metres to go. This is going to be the second best time of the race so far. A great return by Sean Yates. And what a great performance, too, for the man who had a terrible crash. He was cut all over. He's going to be inside La Giretta's time. Yates has produced a great lap half. 1:40.19 for second place. Tremendous ride by Sean Yates. We, at the moment, and of course, all the top boys are still to come, have now worked out that Sean Yates, if the race stopped right here and now, would be the new leader of the Tour de France. And I have to say that that's never happened since the days of Tom Simpson. Britain's only ever had the one wearer of the yellow jersey, Tommy Simpson, who took it down in the Pyrenees back in 1962. If the race was to stop absolutely now, Sean Yates would be the overall leader. And this is Rux now coming in way out of the situation. 1:45.29, only 49th place, conceding almost 7 minutes to Pedro Delgado today. So there's the situation of 48 kilometres. Thierry Marie, third overall this morning, 2:17 behind Delgado. Laurent Fignon, fourth there, 1:56 behind. And this is Sean Kelly now, and he is not among the top 7 riders at any of the checks. So Sean Kelly, who really has developed the art of time trialing quite a lot, is not producing the goods like everybody else, it seems, today. Delgado's ride is now standing out head and shoulders above everybody in the Tour de France. We go back to the finish here to see now the arrival of Greg LeMond And this will be interesting. This will be the best time that we've had for a little while coming in of note. Now, if he records a time better than 1 hour, 40 minutes and 31 seconds, then he will be the leader of the Tour de France at the moment, and he's certainly going to do that. So Sean Yates' moments of glory have gone by. Greg LeMond, the man finds he's back from injury, is coming up to the line. He's producing some terrific form here now. The winner of the Tour de France in 1986. He's got this sharp left-hand corner to make, and he's going to push Delgado, because look at this, he's going to beat Delgado's time. LeMond has improved all the way along the course today. He was 1 minute 8 seconds behind Delgado of 48 kilometres, and now he's going to snip a few seconds off the time of Pedro, but it won't worry Pedro Delgado too much at this stage, because Delgado has gained minutes over most of the people. But look at this. Gently round the corner, 200 metres to go, and Greg LeMond is announcing his return to the top flight of cycling. He got second place in the time trial final stage of the Tour of Italy, and now he's going top of the leaderboard in the Tour de France. 1:38.12 for Greg LeMond. What a fantastic ride. I'm not surprised his helper there, if he liked it. That is a performance today. And this is the first sight we've had of Laurent Fignon since he left the start at Dinard this morning. Fourth overall at the start, 2 minutes 37 seconds back. But he might well know, because his director sportif will be following him, that he is now conceding 2 minutes to Pedro Delgado and, of course, the new leader, Greg LeMond. Very confident rider this year, Laurent Fignon. He's making his return to the top flight. He won the Tour of Italy just before the start of the Tour de France. I think he's going to be a bit shocked by the performance by both the two riders who head the leaders' table at the moment. He needs to do 1 hour, 39 minutes and 3 seconds to take the overall lead in the Tour de France this afternoon. And this is Sean Kelly approaching the finish here, and he has in fact just been caught by Pascal Simon, and that's rather sad for Sean. He's been pegged back 2 minutes, and Pascal himself not on a great ride. He's going to be just on the outside of a 1 hour 40-minute ride, so it's a 1 hour 42-minute ride for Sean Kelly today, and that's going to concede for him 4 minutes to Pedro Delgado and Greg LeMond, and that could be expensive. So Kelly finishes just behind Pascal Simon. And this is the arrival of Laurent Fignon, and look at this fight back by Fignon in the second half of the race, because he is now bridging back almost a minute on Greg LeMond at the halfway check. He is going to be outside LeMond's time now, but what a return. This is by Laurent Fignon. His time to take the leader's yellow jersey, 1 hour 39.03 seconds, and it looks like he's going to be very close. He might just do it. Fignon is going to produce a finish here that could put him in yellow tonight. So, for the last few years, Fignon has been an indifferent time trialer, but now it looks as though he's found his real legs once again. The years he won the Tour de France, he was a great time trialist. Now he's coming back. He's going to be 1:39 just as he comes round this last bend. 200 metres to go to the line. Laurent Fignon needs to beat 1:39.03 to take the yellow jersey. Of course, the yellow jersey is still to finish, but he's just outside of it. He's going just outside of it. So he's not going to be in yellow tonight. I don't think he'll be actually too unhappy about that. 1:39.9 on the line for third best at the moment. This place is Sean Yates. And as you can see, he wants a chance to breathe in the melee of journalists who have grabbed him at the line. And that has been a marvellous second half for Laurent Fignon. He really has pulled out something special. And in fact, we've just been joined by Greg LeMond. So Greg, take a seat alongside me as we watch these pictures of Raul Alcala. And Greg, just explain, what a comeback for you. You're on the leaderboard at the moment.
I hope I can take the yellow jersey. It would be a great victory for me.
You said all along that you're going to take each day of the Tour de France as it comes, yet you started so well. You threatened every time that you've appeared.
Yeah, I'm very motivated because I have a lot to prove and a lot to show that a lot of people have said I was finished, particularly my old team, BDM, and several other people, and I'm out to prove that they're wrong.
It must be nice to see yourself on top of the board again.
Very. It's been a long time.
Thierry Marie coming up towards the line, and Marie, who is an excellent time trialist, his time has gone by Greg LeMond, has gone by Pedro Delgado's. He's got to do 1:40.09 to take the yellow jersey off Greg LeMond. And as Greg has just left my side, it looks as though Marie is going to be ever so close to taking the lead in the Tour de France. 1 hour, 40 minutes and 9 seconds, and I would say, look at the face on Marie here, that he's going to do it. He's going to pick up the yellow jersey. He's led the Tour de France once before when he won the prologue time trial a few years ago, but he's never picked up the yellow jersey so far into the race. And Marie knew he had a chance today to do it. There's only 2 riders still behind him. He surely is the best time trialist of the 3 of them. And Marie now making his turn for home. 1:40.09 is the time he must do to take the yellow jersey with 2 men still to finish. Marie comes up 150 metres from the line. It'll be close, but it'll be enough. Thierry Marie has taken away the golden opportunity for Greg LeMond to take the lead of the Tour de France. He hits the line a couple of seconds in it. 1:40.03 for 4th best on the day. And now he is the man in yellow with 2 men to finish. This is the situation at the moment. Greg LeMond, Fignon at 5 seconds, and in fact, they are saying here that Greg LeMond is the leader. Laurent Fignon is at 5 seconds. Thierry Marie is at 20 seconds, and Paul Shelley is agreeing with me that this is correct. So LeMond is still the leader, and Greg here absolutely delighted. Birking is up to 4th place, and the only 2 riders who can affect that now, Soren Lilholt and Acacia da Silva. Here we are at the finish now, the ride home for Acacia da Silva. 1:43. He concedes over 5 minutes, and it'll be 6 minutes by the time he gets to the line. So it's goodbye to the Maillot Jaune for Acacia da Silva of Portugal. He's been a good leader, though. And it's going to be hello for Greg LeMond to the jersey, which he will see as an absolute dream come true. He's taken this race day by day. He's wanted to give him his best and just see what happens. And that tremendous time today of 1 hour, 38 minutes and 12 seconds, the only time that has bettered that done by Pedro Delgado and Thierry Marie. They are now really the riders that we'll have to watch as we go down towards the Pyrenees by the end of the week. The yellow jersey comes home. A big effort from the green jersey too. The leader of the race on points, the leader of the race on time. The 2 jerseys here now as they come home together. A fitting end, I think, for Acacia da Silva. Down the bend, which is dried out a little bit now as the rain has gone off. And the yellow jersey closes down this stage of the Tour de France. And what an amazing day it really has been. The return of the great Spaniard Pedro Delgado when we see the overall classification later tonight. And then we'll see just how far this man has moved up the overall standings. And the new yellow jersey of the Tour de France now, by just 5 seconds, is the American Greg LeMond. There's the result of the time trial. A win for Greg LeMond of the United States. 2nd, Pedro Delgado, last year's winner. He's back. 3rd, Laurent Fignon, the challenger. 4th, Thierry Marie. 5th, Britain, Sean Yates, just 2 minutes, 7 seconds behind LeMond. 6th, Marina Lajaretta. And 7th, Steve Bauer.
Well, what a day. Sean Yates, so close to that yellow jersey. And what a great sight that would have been. An Englishman in yellow again for the first time since Tommy Simpson, way back in the 60s. But that pleasure tonight is Greg LeMond's, as we've seen, and he's talking now with Paul Shelley.
I've had a lot of ups and downs and some very difficult moments, and I think that this result today has been the result of hard work and a lot of dedication. I've probably been more dedicated to cycling than I ever have been in my career, and I've suffered a lot of humility from other races. I've seen other directors and other teams and put little smiles when I've been dropped, and I've gone through some very difficult moments, and I think that it's great to be back. But it's just a start, and it only confirms what I always believed, that I'll come back stronger than I was before.
But now this is really the first year that you've been back at the top of the ladder. Do you think you can win the Tour de France this year?
I want to say I would like to. I would love to win the Tour, but I want to be realistic. I think I've got some very tough competition, Fignon and Delgado and Hampston. There's a lot of good riders out there that are going to be tough to beat, and I'm not sure if I have what it takes to last 3 weeks in the mountains and recuperate every day. That's what I'm most afraid of.
And confirmation of the overall classification. Le Monde, the winner in 1986, is in yellow. Second, it's Fignon, who's breathing right down his neck. Then it's Thierry Marie, Burkink, Sean Yates is 5th, and Pascal Simon 6th. Stephen Roach, incidentally, 17th, 5 minutes and 10 seconds back. Sean Kelly, 20th, 5 minutes and 20. And Pedro Delgado, who was last after the opening day, is up to 28th, 6 minutes and 53 seconds off the lead. And that's well inside his winning margin last year. You just can't write him off. Tomorrow we're off to Futuroscope, the longest stage on the tour. It's nice and flat, and as of now, this is anybody's race. Don't you dare miss it.